Dam! Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! I'm Rob Van Dam. The whole show.
From Battle Creek, Michigan, weighing 230.
What the fuck, Rob Van Dam? It froze, dude.
Yeah, I fucked it up. I fucked it up this time.
I hope you do.
I hope you do. I hope you do. I hope everybody.
It skips too, by the way. I told you that a few weeks ago, and then I haven't mentioned it since. But I don't know if it's doing that on your end or not. But like the rhythm and shit, every once in a while, like 3 or 4 times during the song, it like jumps or skips so that it slightly goes off beat. You notice that or no?
It was on my end too. Yeah, I did notice it this time.
It used to, like originally. I don't know why it started doing that.
Maybe what I'll do, I'll try a different method because you can upload the video and make it an intro instead of how I do it now. It's just easy to transition right to you to do that. Well, not this time because I fucked it up, but but maybe I'll try a different method next time and see if that helps. So,
all right, cool.
But hey, we're live.
Let's get an animated cartoon to go along with it too from now on to open.
That would be fucking sweet.
We'll get fucking Rib Shot to do it.
Oh, great. That's a great man. Maybe I'll make a pitch about that. That would be a good shout out. That'd be a lifelong sponsor that we just sponsored by.
I did have a cartoon commercial that he was working on but it was for OWA. And then when that went south, it was like, well, you know, it'd be cool to still see it done, but I don't want anyone else to see it now, you know?
Right. Fuck that. Yeah, maybe
it looked cool what he was working on. I don't know if we can ever use that, the first half or part that he did, but obviously it was cool because Rib Shot makes some cool shit.
Right. Yeah, they definitely do. Man, some of the subtleties that they do in some of that shit where it's like the little Easter eggs that you see. Did you see the fucking one with the oh my god, with Violent J? And he's talking, he's in the Ferris wheel with Shaggy 2 Dope, and they're talking about, they're going like in loops, and like the conversation stops because they're out of the picture, and then it continues. And they scroll up, and who's sitting in the seat above him? But Doink's just by himself. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. By the way, do you see JCW in AEW?
I did. I was going to bring that up tonight. Yes, JCW and Rhino was there too.
Sweet. Is Rhino now? What is Rhino normally doing? Where do we see him normally? Is he somewhere or no?
No, he's just an he hits the indies. Okay. He does like his own events, I think, from time to time. But
I see him actually every time I do a signing. We have the same agent, so I always see him. But I didn't know like if he was AEW every week or.
I think he would be great in AEW if they used him pretty regularly. He looks amazing like right now too. It's just like he just looks like Rhino. Yeah. But they did the Ice Bucket Challenge actually tonight for Rebel with the ALS. And so they had Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. They all sat in like a kiddie pool, and the ICP and Rhino dumped the ice on top of them. So cool.
Okay. And what else did they do? Like that's not what they were there for, right? Obviously, like I didn't see that part of this.
I don't know exactly what they were just like, I think on like a little pre-show thing before Dynamite, and like Tony Khan came out with them, ICP and stuff like that. So they were just in it because they were in Detroit. So so that they kind of like, I think they were in town and they wanted to see Tony, and Tony made it happy and then got him on a little bit. I think it would be awesome though if JCW and AEW did something together though.
Yeah, a lot of fans listening might not know unless they've been longtime fans, but a bunch of us came out of the same area around the same time, and in the wrestling business, you know, myself with Sabu and ICP, but also when they started doing their albums and shit, they had Kid Rock, Eminem, and
Who else?
did you just name somebody that plugged this in my head, or I can't remember now. But anyway, there's somebody else that I wasn't familiar with. What's funny is I can remember the lyrics from the song, but I don't want to sing it. But
you sure you don't? You don't want to sing it, Rob?
Skinny dipping in the pool, you know what? Drown hose, fuck him doggy style, and fuck that ass like the bongos. They go the bongos. I don't know who that guy is, but I think he ended up. I think he was a big star that did like a guest.
Everlast
on Dog Beats. I don't know.
The Riddler says Everlast.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with, but I mean, obviously Eminem and Kid Rock, and you know Joe C. Obviously,
yeah,
long time friend. But anyway, yeah. So I'm proud of them guys in the weird way that we feel proud just because we're from the same place. So,
it is pretty cool though. It's so neat that you guys' paths crossed that early, and then it took a completely different route of what they've done. And obviously, like Jay is such a fan of wrestling and everything to that effect that he goes back to it. But it's like
now, and right now, I think he's crushing it more than ever. Like I think everything that he's been wanting to do with wrestling right now, he's doing it and just starting to do it at the level to where he's like super stoked having Vince Russo there writing and the exposure that they're getting, the credit that they're getting for having entertaining storylines and shit. So I've talked to him, and that's my impression, is that like he's like more stoked than ever, and that he's been doing this for 25 years or plus, however long, 30 years, whatever. And then now it looks he feels like man, dog, you know, like we're there now. We're there, dog. So good luck to ICP.
Oh,
you clowns.
you darn clowns. You gosh darn clowns. I think it's awesome that, like, you know, it is, to your point and what you've been saying, like, you know, it feels like JCW is actually getting a popular reputation, where it seemed like they were just kind of like very, very underground early on, you know, and like it's like, oh, Juggalo Chain, that's just something that the guys like doing, basically. It kind of felt like, you know, but now it's like, okay, this is a wrestling promotion you can tune in and watch every week, and you know, there's storylines, there's characters you follow around with, and you can get attached to and stuff. And so like I'm sure Jay is super duper happy with how it's been going, and like he should be at this point too, for sure. So yeah, what a great good that they're rising up there. I think that they put the effort in, and Jay's got the passion for it, and it's neat to see Russo back in the mix too as well. So also, did you know tonight, I think it's tonight and tomorrow, TNA is actually in Philly. They're at the ECW Arena coming up.
I did know, but I forgot.
Yeah.
I had talked to Dreamer several weeks ago. I mean, it was shortly before he exited the company, and I actually talked to him about several things. One of them was specifically the possibility of RVD being at those Philly shows at the ECW Arena.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that would have been something. We had Frankie Kazarian on a couple weeks ago here, and he's going to be there. And so is who he had last week, Candice Michelle. She'll be there too. So that's pretty awesome. So
yeah,
what two great guests we've had on the past couple weeks. That's been nice. So Candice was great, by the way. I was so like, I didn't watch wrestling around that point because I was like in college, so I wasn't really familiar with her career, so to speak. So like kind of getting to hear who she was and like how she views wrestling and how she views life in general, I thought was super duper cool. Yeah, what a cool person. So,
yeah, I was surprised at the angle that she took, which was, if you're gonna interview me, you're gonna get the real me that's got the experience to teach from. You know, obviously She's a mom. I think she's got 3 kids, if I'm not mistaken. And that's who we got. You know, she came across with a lot of with a heavy bag of lessons for everybody, and following up and commenting like on my 5 recommendations. And she said, I said, avoid it when people do this and that. And she said, I call those traps. And I was like, that's it. It's going to be the Rob and Candace show from now on. She gets it.
Yeah.
She gets me.
You get me. You get me.
Yeah. Super cool.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. Who else is super cool is Seth, who she actually gave awesome perspective on the song too. How about that when she did that? I thought that she broke down the song in a different way we never thought about, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Getting higher.
Yep. And Seth chimes in with $10. Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it. I told Rob before the show, we're not doing a raffle this week, but we'll get you back. We'll get back on track. I got to count up the super chats and figure that all out before I spin the wheel again. So, since we haven't done it in the past couple weeks, but he says, I've been wanting to check out JCW, but I'm turned off by the punk clown aesthetic. How pervasive are the clowns versus the non-clowns related stories? It's interesting, Seth. There's a balance. I think there's a balance for sure. Like they have, I can't remember the clown tag team that they have, the name of the team that there is on there, but it's certainly the ring has a different aesthetic, like a psychedelic kind of feel to it almost, but ultimately it's different characters. And so give it a shot. Like, and that's the pitch that Russo made to us too when he was on here. He's like, give it 2 episodes, just 2 episodes. If you don't like it, just quit watching. He was like, but give us 2 episodes and see how you feel about it. So I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb to kind of go with, Seth, if you want to check it out.
So, the clown, I'd say clowns in particular is usually a rather small part of the show. There's just, you might see Joe or Shaggy, and then there's the tag team that you're talking about, but they're just there amongst another tag team that's like zombies or something, like Walking Dead, and the other guy, Cocaine, that's like a really skinny small cane with coke, and then there's the ring rat, and it really is character heavy. And it's not. I don't think it's something that reeks of punk or of the clown vibe. Like for me, it's the fans that he's always inviting me to all their shows, and I think they just did the Gathering or whatever, and it's like he was trying to get me to go to that just like every year. But I saw something on Instagram where some girl was interviewing there, and she's saying, if you're at the Gathering, be careful of picking up. I think maybe I think she called them shit dollars, and they take money and wipe it in shit or something and drop it on the ground and then wait for people to like pick it up. And it's got shit on it, and then they can laugh or something. And it's like that whole thing really turns me off, like way back to them throwing shit like monkeys, throwing feces at Tila Tequila, and I'm sure they want to get past that. So I don't want to be bringing that up. It sounds like I'm burying them, but I'm just being honest with like some of my apprehensions about some of their live shows are, and it's a lot more to do with the fans. But the shows that I have been to, like out here in Vegas, it was just like more like regular fans that could have been at any wrestling show. They were passionate about the project. They knew the characters, but they were like not subhuman fans. Yeah, they weren't throwing feces, none of that.
Yeah, and the thing is too, they tour around, so it's like you're gonna get different crowds and stuff a lot of the times, it seems like. So if they're not set to one place, and you'll get maybe some of those wild kind of fans or aspect like that, but hopefully, and Jay's come on here and said too that a lot of the juggalos do get like a lot of mislabeling and stuff like that, where it was like, they've been registered as a gang and they're not really a gang, and they're like just like it's overall a good group of people, but yeah, maybe you just don't pick up any dollars if you see them laying around, maybe. So
Yes.
yeah, that wouldn't be fun. That wouldn't be fun.
Guys, spark them if you got them.
That's right. That's right, everybody. That's what the
Here's where
show.
you can watch me get crazy.
Rob gets nuts, everybody.
I saw Mark Jindrak. He's doing a podcast now, and he's obviously in the clique of people that know how to get tens of thousands of views and a good on them. I always say, not that there's no value in that. I get mislabeled. I hate it when people quote me to me, and it's nothing at all, like I said. But anyway, I mean, if that was the main goal, obviously those people don't even say die or gun. You know, I say fuck. I smoke weed. I don't. You know, there's a lot of things I wouldn't do if that was the number one thing. Was just like, we got to compete with these other YouTube nerds. This is how we validate ourselves. You know, it's obviously something different for us, and I like the fans that we do get, you know, and I would much rather have quality people that get me than a huge number of people that don't get me, that are writing, Rob, I'm so disappointed that you have a different opinion than me. I'm really bummed that you said that about Raja. I wish you wouldn't have said that. That ruined. I want us to think exactly alike. I want to be able to, you know, I want you to be able to be my role model all the way through and never make a mistake. And fuck that. I'm more about being true. I'm more about principle. That's the whole thing. Believe me, I would, if I didn't have principles that I care about, I'd be so moldable. That I could have been the perfect puppet for WWE. I could have, been if I was a better yes man, like a lot of fans wish I was, I could have had a total different path than the one I'm on. I like the one I'm on, and strangely, some of those same qualities that a lot of people can't stand about me, like that I think different than them, and like I stand up for what I believe in, even if it's an unpopular opinion. There's a lot of people on here that respect me for the exact same thing that other people don't respect me for. And either way, I'm just about me. I'm not trying to play to, either one of them show different fake sides to please the people. You know what I mean? That's not part of what you get with me.
That's the thing too, Rob, is like, yeah, say if you became that company man and you went and followed like what you like, strapped the rocket on your back and like whatever Bruce Pritchard was saying and all that kind of stuff. And like, yeah, maybe you could have got a little farther or whatever. But the fact is you are who you are. So if you played the company man, maybe the fans wouldn't have connected with you as much as they did.
Well, that's just it. I wouldn't be me, and that's something they can't understand. They're just like, darn it, like, why does he do these things? Why does he make these decisions different than what I would make? That's stupid. He's stupid. Like, that's whatever. Go ahead and live your life how you want, casting your own opinions and shit. But basically, yeah, to justify that perspective, you could say RVD is his own worst enemy because he's not someone else.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's it right there.
Right. I just don't think
says it all. I'm my own worst enemy by being me and not someone else. I could never be anything but.
I think if you compromise yourself to the aspect of like, oh yeah, I'll be like an ambassador, or like try to follow the route of like a John Cena or whatever and do that thing, I just don't think it would have connected with fans. And like the thing with wrestling fans is they can see through a lot of the bullshit when it comes to like, if somebody doesn't feel genuine coming up to them, they're not going to make that connection and you're not going to become a star. So I think your path was the path it was meant to be, right? So it's like
I really don't spend too much time putting energy into hypotheticals, especially hypotheticals of the past that there's nothing you can do about anyway.
Right.
In another universe, In another universe, I was Vince McMahon and owned a promotion.
Right. Robbie McMahon. Boston Brad, all the way from Australia. Thank you for the $50. That's fucking crazy, man. Thank you.
Whoa, new sponsor.
Holy smokes, yeah. He says, I wanted to ask if you have any plans on coming back to Australia again anytime soon. Me and my friends were talking about how awesome the Sabu documentary was, and we were wondering if you were still working on anything similar to that. That's interesting. And another interesting question.
Yeah, no. Me, Joe, and I plan on it. We have talks about possible projects that we could make for our next project, but we're not at a point right now where anything is greenlit or we're even sure of what that next third step would be in the trilogy. But so we're still working on increasing the distribution for the Sabu doc and for Headstrong, which was my doc. But like on a weekly basis, though, we talk about, you know, what we could do, and you know, if that ever becomes what we should do, or we see it that way, then we will be working on something like that. I don't have any plans of going to Australia right now, but I do talk to them all the time. I just talked to Matt, my friend from BCW, just a little while ago, actually, and yeah, there's been another promoter from a different part of Australia that contacted me recently. I love going there. It's always something I look forward to, one of those kind of trips. Don't have any plans of it at the moment to share with you.
Well, that's the thing too, is that was your first match back was in Australia after your injury. Mm-hmm. So like, and you talked highly of how great of a promotion that was down there too. So
yeah, I've wrestled for them for years, for a long time. Had a lot of good times with them. One time we had myself and Katie, Sabu and Jeannie franchise, and Dominic DiNucci, wow, Tajiri. I feel like there was another female. Was it Francine? I don't know, but man, what a good time though. You know, like a whole ECW reunion.
Yeah.
And usually there's Q&As involved with those bookings besides the matches and stuff. And it's a good time.
Man,
it's a good time.
Sounds like a blast. Australia's on my bucket list, definitely to go. Shout out to Maddie, by the way. Maddie, end of the show. Speaking of Maddie, we'll pop up in
Australia,
member for 12 months. I've been for a year. Thank you, Maddie. He says the Chinese man who invented the camera lens has died. Rest in peace. Zoom in.
Zoom in.
Oh my God, that's so I didn't catch that.
Nice.
Jeez, oh man. All right. He says Aldis versus Gunther. Thoughts on the match at SummerSlam and Nick Aldis? And then any Funaki stories. Yeah, what do you think? Have you interacted with Nick Aldis before?
I have. You know, I mean, nothing super standout. I wrestled him in TNA. I know I heard him say in an interview, he was talking about the match, and he said that I'm a lot. He said, I don't know if you know this, but Rob's like solid muscle, and he's hard and really like a lot heavier than he looks. And he said, I picked him up to do my move, and I misjudged a little bit. He landed kind of weird because it was heavy. And I was like, are you all right? And he said, dude, that was cool. That was his RVD story. So you got to like a guy with a good story like that. But I remember also like that I hit him. I pie faced him with a chair. I don't know if it was the back of the head or the front of the head. And I remember him reacting in such a way that wasn't cool to me, because he was bitching about it, like crying, like, fuck, god damn, you know. And then obviously the way I took it was that, you know, that I caught him, And then, like, dude, you all right? You got to respond to that. Dude, you all right? If I ask that a couple of times and you don't respond, it makes me want to hit you again. Because then it makes me think, like, what are you doing? Now you're going to be silent on me? Like, you're not going to just give me the okay and let me know that, you got to just give me the Iggy. Just let me know if you're okay or not, because I just heard you crying like a bitch. So at this point, if you're not going to talk to me, then I don't know. It makes me want to turn it up, crank it up a little bit. And it was just a tiny little thing. He probably doesn't even remember a little thing that happened in our match. We were going up the ramp. I think it was a tag match, not even a singles match, but just something that I remember, something real short, this ain't the right place to air, but to me, I was thinking, unprofessional, fucking, give me the Iggy back. Let me know if you're fucking okay, or else I'll give you something to cry about. One of those kind of things, I guess, maybe.
That was pretty long ago, though, right? That was like
it was so long ago, yeah. And he's just always been cool, and he's married to Mickey James. I love Mickey James, so if she's with him that long, then that says a lot for him. He's got to be, at least someone can stand being around him. That's what someone said to me a long time ago. They said, if you get married, it shows people at least someone can stand being around you.
That gives you some cred, right? That gives you some
I didn't know that he was wrestling Gunther, though. Is that the SummerSlam match?
That's the SummerSlam, and he's been the SmackDown GM. He's never wrestled in WWE before. So
okay.
So it's going to be pretty cool to actually see him get back in the ring, because I mean,
okay,
it
seems a little funny of a follow up, like after Cena, like now he's the monster legend killer, whatever, and then it's like, wait, the GM, but that's cool though. I guess what they've been doing must have worked, because just like you said, it's going to be cool seeing him wrestle again. Hopefully everybody feels like that, and then I don't know whatever they did to make it mean something more than a manager wrestling the top heel. I'm sure they've got that covered.
Yeah. So like, I love Nick Aldis, and I think he really set the tone for NWA as the champion and stuff like that. I think he put that back on the map.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really? So he was great as the NWA champ. Like, he would literally travel around and reestablish that 10 pounds of gold title and stuff like that. He did a great job with all that. And then he had a little feud with Cody Rhodes too before AEW even started. And then once AEW started, it was like a different kind of thing. But ultimately, what they've done with Gunther in the build after beating Cena, after beating Goldberg, after retiring AJ Styles, retiring all those guys, the follow-up has not been great with Gunther. But I think putting him with Aldis as like a fresh opponent, I think should be interesting. And I'm kind of intrigued by that. And I like Nick Aldis a lot, so it'll be neat to kind of just see him get back in the ring. But it's a head scratcher how they underutilized Gunther over the past several months.
When did he wrestle Goldberg?
It was like a Saturday night's main event. It was before Cena retired. So they kind of set the tone for like, oh, he retired Goldberg and now he could retire Cena too. Wow, how about that? And so that's kind of what happened. But the follow-up has not been ideal for Gunther. It's been kind of like they've been misused him, I think, quite a bit.
It seems like it wouldn't be that easy to follow that up with, Hey, right? You just retired the number one guy for the last 20 years. What are you going to do now,
Right, yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, try to give him a world title run or something like that. I don't know, or build off of it. And I guess it's just, I don't know. They just mishandled, I think, in certain ways. But Seth also had another one I almost forgot to pop up. He said, I never saw Candice wrestle a match, but I loved her energy on the podcast. Seems like she's got her own philosophy that's not too far from RVDology.
Yep, absolutely. I could see doing a show with her. I definitely would like to have a setting again where we could have a deep conversation. I didn't know that she was going to be that deep.
No.
But obviously I knew she was cool, and how many people knew that she married Katie and I? That was
I didn't know it. I didn't. Yeah,
she's always going to have a special spot in our lives for that. Yeah.
Well, you can tell how much she cares about people, and so that what a perfect person to have for that. Really.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for for that, Seth. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I saw this video today that I see every once in a while, and it's the video of Jason Hervey is interviewing me backstage TNA at the Universal Studios, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and what's great is like this is where like when Frankie was on the show, we were talking about. I was saying there's like a different kind of kayfabe now, because now that they say, hey, we're opening up the curtains, they can tell you anything they want and say this is the way it really is, and the fans are all eating it up, believing like, wow, we're getting the real stuff now. This is the way it really is, and it's stuff that we'll notice. You know what I mean? Like as we're watching it, and I was saying, you know, there's the absence of the ego and the backstabbing and the politics and all the pecking order, the bullying, all the shit that has always been apparent in the company. Like they've erased that, so the fans that just think we're all friends and buddies playing can then once again believe that they're right about it, you know? And so it's like a different kind of kayfabe now. And this kind of falls into that. So Jason Hervey is interviewing me. I just wrestled, and so he's saying that I have a match coming up, and he's like, "You just got mic checked into the corner post, and by Ken Anderson." And I'm like, "Ken Anderson? I got a match with him tonight. Shit, man, quit talking to me. I got to get ready for it." No, Rob, you already had your match. And I'm like, dude, I think my sugar's dropping or something. I feel funny. You know what? Can we talk about this later? He's just like, Rob, you don't understand. I'm telling you, you have a concussion or something. You just wrestled the match. You already had it. And I'm like, bro, how much time do I have? You know what I mean? Wow. If you look at all the comments on there, people are so pissed. They're like, why the fuck would they keep recording him instead of like getting this man some help? You know, and then, wow, he's so concussed. One person said, it's hard to tell when people are concussed when they smoke weed. Yeah, because that's how we talk all the time, right? Oh yeah. Let me get back to Jindrak. So I saw Jindrak. Jindrak was rating like talking about the top podcasts or whatever. And so I saw. So let me see if he does mine. First one he does is RVD's, and it was cool. Everything was friendly and stuff, you know, which I would expect it to be. But just the one comment that sticks out that I'm always saying on here, I'm always like trying to point this out, but he says Rob doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He kind of like keeps everything right in the middle. He goes, not to say that he doesn't get high, I mean, because he gets fucked up. You know what I mean? This is me fucked up. So everybody, I always say this every week, but take notice how much extremely different I am when I'm blasted on that devil's lettuce compared to right before I light it up when I'm the exact fucking same. I just always try to make that a point because people need to see responsible users also, besides just the bullshit that they're fed. And I know it's funny for people to think, I bet he's got the munchies. That shit will always be funny to non-smokers, which there's less and less of all the time. You know, someday the stereotypes aren't going to be funny to anybody anymore. It's just going to be something to do, you know. Right. But anyway, yeah, I always say, everybody get your notepads and your pens out. Start writing down all the differences. I'm going to get fucked up here like I always do every week. Okay, so anyway, but good luck, Jindrak, with the show. Just, you know, come on. How fucked up do you see me get? Like, really?
It seems like some of that stuff is very hokey in a little ways, like how
it's like cheesy, but it's an easy pop, I guess. It's
right,
like,
I guess, and it's just like you catch out.
Oh, because it looks weed, right? That's funny.
Oh, so of course, right? That's how it. I don't know.
Yeah. But
you know, Good on them for making the money.
Unlike some irresponsible users that you might know, I don't change much when I smoke. It increases my spiritual vibration, because I know you're asking, well, why do you smoke then? It makes everything more culpable. And I just enjoy it. That's me, my personal choice. Now they're saying that for the first time ever, that more Americans are smoking weed on a daily basis than smoking cigarettes or than drinking alcohol on a daily basis. That's pretty big. Some of the polls are from like 23 though. Like why does it take 3 years to get to us? But I saw one today that was from 25. And anyway, that's what they're saying. That's the rhetoric that you can expect to keep hearing this year, is that's where cannabis is going. But back to what I was talking about, which can't remember because I'm so high. What was I talking about?
Fucked up.
But anyway, so people are like, on the Jason Hervey interview, people are like, dude, when are they going to put the fucking camera down and get this man some help? This is why TNA sucks. And everyone is like so pissed. And what I want to say to that, and I'll just leave it at this, is thank you. Thank you for that. Whether you meant it or not, that was a compliment. And that's commitment. I did the same thing when I left WWE in 2007. And this was a match with Randy Orton, a stretcher match.
Yeah.
And RVD got a concussion. Shawn Michaels got one shortly before that. It was like baby faces were getting concussions on a weekly basis. And that's, I got a concussion and then went out and I never came back again. And everybody that watches that, like, dude, you can tell how fucked up he is. You can see it in his eyes, you know. Everyone is like so sure to commit themselves to their feelings towards this. And I just want to say, like, why is it that we've never heard about Rob leaving WWE because of concussions? We saw it on pay-per-view. That was the storyline. But whenever the conversation comes up, it's always because I was burnt out. What they killed ECW. My contract was up. I didn't want to resign. They wanted me to resign. Johnny Yates and I had several meetings with him trying to talk me into resigning, but we couldn't come up with something that worked out because I couldn't be subjected to a return date because I would be counting the minutes. That's what I would do when I'd go home. I get home, say Wednesday morning on that schedule. That's okay. I got till Thursday night. So in my head, I'm going, okay, I got 52 hours left. I got 51 hours left. It was like I was so burnt out and so desperate to stay home. You know what I mean? That it was like a panicky thing. Like, oh my God, I got to go again. When do I get to come? I don't get to come home for 2 weeks this time. Anyway, I have all my schedules and shit from that time too. We've been doing this moment in history, bro. I kept everything. I have all my contracts throughout my whole fucking career. I have the schedules, all kinds of shit. So anyway, we don't hear about Rob having to leave WWE because of a concussion, but then we watched it on the third it was the third ECW pay-per-view One Night Stand when I wrestled Randy. I forget that, but I think it was called, wasn't it? I think.
Was it? Let me make sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was. I think
you might be right.
I wrestled Randy.
Armageddon 2003, Rob, I think it was.
No,
that's not 2003. Never mind. Hold on.
2007.
2007. Let's see.
RVD versus Randy.
Yep, you're right, Rob. Brutal stretcher match at One Night Stand 2007.
See, so when we talk about ECW coming back and doing those pay-per-views in WWE, we forget about that. We just mentioned the two of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I when you mentioned that, I was like, they had a third one?
Right, because it was so not ECW, and ECW was so already gone by then. You know, it was basically just the name, I guess, they were using. I don't know. But anyway, I was proud of myself staying committed in that match. You know, like I always explained, the Sheik taught us to make the moment real and to really be living in the moment. You know, I remember one time, boom, bumping Randy, and I grabbed the top rope and I jumped up like I do for my frog splash, and my foot missed the turnbuckle and I like rolled onto the floor, you know, because my senses were off, my balance was off, and you know, I was into the concussion like so much, and all of that, man. I enjoyed that part of acting. It's something particular, something physical that I'm good at, can commit at, and make it like really real. One other time I was committed like that, and this one is kind of a funny story. It's just what comes to mind when I think about this. Those two were both concussions that the fans are positive that I have CTE because of those, even though you die when you get CTE, but that doesn't matter to them. They saw those two performances and they know. Another time, this is like in 94-ish, all right?
Okay.
Maybe 95, Hazelhurst, Georgia, a little town that I wrestled at a lot of times when I was co-promoting shows with Greg Price. And we had been doing this angle, building up to this match between me and the man who turned out to be the biggest scumbag that I would ever meet in the business, Bad News Bobby Fulton.
Oh, boy.
Yes. And anyway, at this time, I didn't know what a dishonest piece of shit that he was. And anyway, you know, I was young and green, but working my way up, you know, and at this time I was like a big star in Hazelhurst. So anyway, I wanted to do this thing that we did back then. Going through a table was almost unheard of. It was nobody else was fighting to do that. Oh, I'm going to do that in my match. No, there was for sure nobody on the card was going through a table. You didn't used to have to worry about that shit. Nobody even wanted to. And the fact that I wanted to go through a table, they all thought I was fucking crazy. That's how different it was back then in 94 or whatever.
Yeah, 94,
and,
right?
We're into the, you know, after boom, 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 we have our match and he can come back and boom, boom, boom. Man, and Bobby gives me a hip toss, but I reverse it and I give him a hip toss, but he reverses it and gives me a hip toss. Eventually, I go over the top rope, bam, and crash right through the announcer's table. And it was like unexpected, and so it was like out of nowhere, and it was like brutal enough looking to where everybody was shocked and thought they just witnessed a murder, you know?
Yeah.
And like, and even back then, I remember, you know, like Bobby, like earlier, well, just make sure you grab that top rope, brother. Take care of yourself. It was so different back then. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like to want to dive over and actually crash hard, like everybody from the bottom of the top of the card wants to do now. I was the only one back then that, you know, was wanting to do shit like that. But anyway, I crashed through the table and I laid there, folded in the table, and sold it unconscious while everybody left until the very last person left the fucking arena. It was like, okay, good night, everybody. You know, be safe on your way home. We'll be back here September 5th for an evening of all-star wrestling. And they're like looking at the table on their way out, like, what the fuck?
Are you gonna do anything with this guy?
I just stayed there and took a nap and waited, you know, until I was like, is everybody gone? You know, and didn't want anybody to see because I was like so into that angle and wanted, you know, to have some real heat in that rematch. But
dude, that's fucking great. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody gonna help this guy? He's just laying here.
What's that?
Anybody gonna help this guy? He's just laying here.
Yeah. Yeah. Hazelhurst, Georgia.
Man, the pride of Hazelhurst.
Back then, that I was also telling people I was Jean-Claude's cousin. So sorry about that.
That's
I was told to do that by a promoter. I learned eventually I could get over and be honest. Bobby, well, he didn't learn the same thing. He don't know nothing about honesty. Fuck that scumbag.
Right. This is kind of
bad
funny.
news, Bobby Fulton.
F you, Bobby. F you.
In the butthole.
In the butthole. Seth, this is interesting. He says WWE is flailing. They've got wrestlers holding KFC chicken in their promos, and they put on-screen ads over matches, not during the ad break. Yeah, that's been a big exception there. People have been taking it. But Rob, if you're presented a KFC bucket to cut a promo while you're holding a KFC bucket, would you? How would you pull it off? Could you do it?
What's it pay? What's it pay? That's in the words of the great Sabu.
It meets the RVD. It meets the RVD salary or the fee that you. Yeah, it meets the booking fee for sure.
Hey man, everybody likes chicken.
That's right.
I remember when I was in WWE and they wanted me to do the thing with Taco Bell, and I didn't, and I was like, I didn't like it, because I don't know. I mean, back then you're always still learning about yourself and still developing, hopefully, in some ways. But I remember back then, but I don't eat chips, why do I don't want to represent that to people. And then, and then people probably think because I smoke pot, because they think that if they smoke pot, they have to eat fucking Doritos for some reason. And so they probably think that about me. I don't want them to think that about me. I don't want to, if people are going to follow me for what I actually do and stuff, it's more about living a clean, healthy lifestyle and using weed to enhance that and actually elongate your life expectancy. What's that got to do with Doritos? But I think eventually I did something, but it was compromised. Like they wanted me to hold the bag and crunch it or something, and instead. I don't remember what I think I did it without the bag or something. They were sponsored. It's stupid shit like that. A bunch of stuff like that I look at that probably weighed up so much against me with some bigger stuff too. But a lot of people might wonder, dude, RVD was so over. Why the fuck didn't they do this with him or that with them? So some of the reasons were stuff like this. I wasn't a good yes man, and sometimes I could have been more. Sometimes I definitely couldn't have been more of a yes man and had to stand where I stood, and that's just the way it was. And then there's some shit that you ain't heard about, and that's a little bit heavier.
Yeah, man.
As far as disagreements with the wrong people, if you're trying to make an impression.
You're right. Yeah. Part of it.
A good impression, anyway.
Man, I would have liked to see you in a Taco Bell commercial, though. That would have been
Yeah, I had a little Taco Bell done, about a Chihuahua after that commercial back in the day, and then another one. I had 2 different Chihuahuas, great dogs.
Yeah. I interact with Chihuahuas before. They're pretty cool. I like Chihuahuas.
Yeah.
Maddie chimes in with about the weed stigma with some basic thinkers. Spark them up. Yes, sir.
We're gonna see that dissipate. By the way, I mean, that's part of being ahead of my time. I'm ahead of my time in a lot of different ways, and eventually I see my way come around, and usually by then it's someone else's way, that someone that hated my way before that eventually learns to capitalize on it and then try and make it. But that's just something that I have never doubted, was that certain areas where I'm ahead of my time, I know eventually that things are going to change there. Everything's temporary anyway, but when it comes to comes to things like that, I mean, like back in the day when I became a cannabis advocate, in the mid 90s, like everybody was smoking cigarettes. It was so much more popular then than it is now. Like you couldn't walk into an airport without a big group of 10, 12 people getting their last puffs in before they go, and I understand it. If I had extra time, shit, I'll stand out there and smoke a joint. But I don't know if I'm getting out of the joint what they get out of the cigarette. I assume I am, except for the high. But they're getting the satisfaction. I mean, I guess they enjoy. I don't know. I've talked to I've never smoked cigarettes, and I've talked to different people that did. Sabu is the only one I knew that would smoke a cigarette and not have guilt over it. Most people like, oh, I know I should do it. I've been trying to quit or whatever. But Sabu would be like, no, I just smoke because I want to, And I always respected that. He wasn't like an everyday smoker, but like, maybe once a day if he was smoking weed and or drinking. If someone offered him a cigarette, he would want it, Right. By the way, one time in Japan, I might have told this story before, but we were all at this dinner table getting yakiniku at the Tokyo Inn Hotel. A bunch of fans and a bunch of us wrestlers. And Sabu, if you ever seen Sabu outside of ring time, he likes to take a nap anywhere. That's something that he's kind of known for by people that have been around him because he did it a lot. And he must have just lit this fucking cigarette. And then he's sleeping. And I notice every time he breathes in, the cherry lights up. Oh. And then he breathes out and the smoke comes out. And so I was watching him and he smoked the entire cigarette while he was sleeping. And I was just so fascinated by it. And he had his pack of cigarettes sitting there on the table. I grabbed another cigarette and I stuck it in his lips. And I held the lighter to it, and I said, shh, and I just held it up to his lips. And he fucking lit it. And I was like, son of a bitch, look at this. And I was like pointing it out to everybody. And we were all, it seems like Jackie Fulton was there for some reason. Because I think he was the one, that said, Sabu just can't get enough. He loves smoking. And he smoked the whole thing down, 2 whole cigarettes, 1 nap. And then one of the Japanese fans tried to do what I did and stick a 3rd cigarette in his mouth and woke him up. And of course he was pissed. And, well, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know what that guy's doing.
Hey, that guy's nuts. I don't know what he's thinking.
I don't know what he's happening, bro. I didn't see it.
Didn't see it. Crazy fans, I tell you what. Holy crap. That's, man, I see when you were selling it, I was like, oh, Rob's going to pull out the cigarette and so he doesn't burn himself, but you just kept
I let it go.
You let it go.
2 whole cigarettes. But anyway, they used to smoke cigarettes and then shame weed smokers. They still do, but not as much, it's really rare to see people smoke cigarettes now. Like when I see somebody, I'm like, really? You're still smoking cigarettes, dude? Like pretty much everybody knows that you're just inhaling poison, but that's cool, do you? But these are the same people that want to say like, he's stoned, man. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Same people. Like, yeah, because we're not good at making decisions like you.
Yeah, right. It's weird to think too. It's like restaurants used to have smoking and non-smoking, and it's like that's not a thing really.
I've been on airplanes where you could smoke.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, my first trip to Japan in '93, all Japan, there was a smoking section, and it killed me because we had the cheap seats. No one had to sit there. It was bad. Had to work my way up the ladder,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I don't mind being like a dive bar where there's smoke, and I don't smoke. Like I'll smoke a cigarette once a year, maybe, if that. But like, and I don't mind the smell of cigarettes, but like if I'm there too long, then it's a little too much.
I've always felt like I'm allergic to it. Like my body
really?
rejects it. Yeah. soon it like cuts off and kicks it out before it even goes in. It like locks up, and it's weird. I can smoke hookah and I don't get the same effect.
Yeah. After I smoke a cigarette or I've smoked like a cigar or something like that, it's like my mouth tastes disgusting. It's just like, I'm not doing this again for a while.
I tried dip one time.
Oh, really? I've never tried dip.
So Bobby Duncombe Jr. was one of my best friends, and he did dip all the time. And so I was like, dude, do you get high from that? And he was like, well, yeah, kind of. And I was like, let me try it. And he's like, are you sure? And you got to be careful. You might get sick on it or whatever. So I was like, no, dude, when we get to the room, I'm going to do it. We got to the room. Did I just tell this story?
No,
Not here? Okay. I told it somewhere.
Yeah, you didn't tell it here.
I gotta decide if I should put in the really funny part or not. Oh hell, Bobby's gone. It's okay. It's okay, Bobby. We got to the hotel like in the afternoon, and I went to Bobby's room because Bobby and I were gonna go find some food, but I was gonna try some dip first, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Ace is in Bobby's room because teach Bobby to wash his gear because Bobby's gear stunk and the boys were complaining about it.
Oh gosh.
So he comes to his room to show him how to put his knee pads in the fucking bathtub and stuff, right? And while Johnny's there, he goes to grab this towel. It was a hand towel, and it's folded in half and it's stuck together. He picked it up, and we look at Bobby. Bobby, what the fuck? And Bobby's like, well. And it was like, we just got here. We've only been here like a fucking hour. Like we just got to the hotel, been there like an hour. And Bobby already had time to rub one out on the towel. So Johnny wanted to show him you put your knee pads in the towel and you wrap it up and then you stomp on it and it soaks all the water up. But the towel that he got was clung together. You get it? Yeah. So that was funny. And then I took but I tried the shit, and I just remember Johnny and Bobby were watching me. Did you feel it? Do you feel it yet? And I'm like, no. All right, wait a couple of seconds. You feel anything yet? I'm like, no. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, I feel it. Yes. They were like, all right, spit it out. And I was like, no. They go, spit it out. You're going to get sick. And I was like, no, I don't want to spit it out. I was like on an elevator, and I was like, I'm going to the top, man. And I kept it in my mouth, and I didn't get sick. And it did get me like high, not the same kind of high that I prefer, but, for being over in Japan on a day off in the daytime or whatever, it was whatever. It was just the one and only time I tried. It wasn't good enough to do again, but I don't know, like with cigarettes, I've heard that people do you get high from it?
No, I don't. Okay. When I tried it, I don't. I just do it kind of like just as a social thing. I do it. And then
just for the process of having something in your mouth.
Just to try it out. And like, if I'm like hanging with a buddy that I know smokes or whatever, maybe once in a great while, or like I'm out somewhere, say like when I went to Austin, Texas or something, I like had a couple cigarettes when I was down there or something. But I never really got it.
I've heard some people say that they do, like it picks them up a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's never happened to me. I never, like I said, though, I never tried dip before. So, but I know my brother does once in a great while and stuff. And I don't know if he gets a high off of it though either. I'll have to ask.
That's such a funny Bobby story. Like, Bobby,
oh my God, Bobby, he's not here.
Right off the bus and just ran, dropped your shorts, rubbed one out, and then called us and said, "Come on over."
Must have saw some fine Japanese women on the way there. Yeah. Let's see. Seth chimes in again. Thank you, Seth, for $20, man. We appreciate it, dude. I was trying to explain RVD to my producer friend Benji, but it sounded make believe. He's a ninja. He's a cannabis advocate, a high flying big muscle guy. And also a philosopher. It sounded crazy, so I had to show him some videos. That's awesome.
Vids.
That's great.
RVD is not for everybody to understand. So they'll be
Yep.
disappointed if Benji doesn't get it.
Right.
I'm for the I'm for those who get me, and I'm definitely standing proud on being different than the majority. So that's always got to be taken into consideration.
That's why this show is one of the best. I like it, and it's it's so funny too because like you're lighting up here, but then at some points you'll have like guests on. At other points you'll have your dogs. Other points the babies are in, Katie's are in. It's just like there's another show like it.
I give everybody plenty to complain and bitch about.
Right.
Either way, this is my platform, and so you tune in to get me. Otherwise, don't tune in. And I'm enjoying it.
Tony.
Get-togethers with our Van Dam fam here. By the way, appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week. And fucking, this is like a social club. It really is.
It definitely is. It is. It's like people get together, smoke up if they have it. If I have booze in my place, I'll drink some booze while I'm doing the show. It's always great. So Tony Hayes adds this too. He says, do not eat Taco Bell if you live in the Midwest. Their lettuce is tainted with bacteria that will give you the shits for a month. Yeah, did you hear about the explosive diarrhea, Rob?
I saw the headline somewhere, but didn't look into it. I just passed it over. But I know something was... I didn't even, when something like that happens, I don't know if it's just one bullshit article or if there's any truth to it. But I did see something was going on. Yeah.
No, it's been going around apparently. And people, you get it for months if you get it's like explosive diarrhea or whatever. And it was tainted with iceberg lettuce. What a month! What a series of months that would be. My goodness.
One of them I heard recently, but it was the same thing. It was just a headline or something. But I saw that they did tests on. I can't remember which place it was, but like they tested I think their chicken, and there was like no evidence whatsoever of there being any like chicken or animal meat in the whole patty.
Oh, really? What?
Yeah. I remember, like, I heard something about Subway, I heard something about Chipotle, something about McDonald's, and it's like I don't know what's true and what's not. I currently don't eat fast food very much at all. Like, I have in the past, and like when I was in WWE, I would eat at Subway once or twice a day, and then usually eat at a restaurant afterwards if I could find something open. But lots of times it's 2 a.m., so you got to get whatever you can. So that was a much bigger part of my diet then. But now, like, I hardly ever go through a drive-through to eat. If I'm making a bank deposit or something, maybe. But it's just it's just not a big part of my life now. I'm not saying that that I'm better or worse than anybody else, but that kind of stuff isn't going to affect me like it used to. I used to love Taco Bell. That used to be like one of my favorites, probably next to Subway. And I considered it one of the more healthier choices, but
yeah, I always like Taco Bell. I mean, I'm not fast food yet.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know. I could ask fucking Alexa, what fast food place had fake fucking meat that they're supposedly giving, but if you're at that level and you're getting away with that, like how are the fucking the checks and balances and just the fucking compliancy tests and just the health regulation, how's all that inspecting and all that shit going? How could that be possible? Like, you've been in business for fucking 60 years and we're just finding out that now, or they just start doing it? That's weird.
We're like, they've been paid off for that long that they just propagate all that? I don't even know.
It's all believable. Anything's just as believable as anything else,
Right?
When it comes to corruption, it goes to the top. So why not?
Why the heck not, right? The Boston Bat, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for the Australian $10, mate. I work in a place that is very strict about drinking and drugs, where we get drug tested every month at random. I since got promoted to management and changed the policy to allow medical use of weed. Oh, how about that, boss?
Nice. Yeah, very cool.
Hell yeah.
And that's something I've been reading. I just read today that I think it had like I don't know if it had like a number, thousands or whatever, but a lot of businesses are supposedly changing their policies to allow medical marijuana in their systems now, like he's talking about.
Yeah,
so,
I saw you share that on social media. I saw you.
Oh, I did. Okay, yeah. Do you
Yeah.
remember? Was it a number or a percentage, or was it just saying? I can't remember what the fact.
I can't remember either. I can't remember
Yeah.
if there was a
Well,
percentage or not. Yeah.
But anyway, that's good. I mean, that's a prejudice against it that it's a Schedule III, like prescription drugs, but unlike prescription drugs, you still can't travel with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you got to take your medicine with you.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Man, that's interesting. Good for you though, Boss Bat, to do that.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Frankie Chorizo always asks the good questions. Hey, he says, thanks for the $5. How did everyone remember to stay away from the corner before Bammer and Taz fell through it? How did you stay away from the barbed wire and garbage wrestling? So how did everybody remember to stay away from the corner before Bam Bam and Taz fell through it?
I couldn't tell you. I wasn't there.
Oh, there you go. And then how did you stay away from the barbed wire and garbage wrestling? You kind of talked about that beforehand. Like you just that wasn't your style, right? Doing all those.
Yeah, that it just wasn't my style. When Sabu and Terry Funk had the barbed wire match, I made it like part of the story, and me and Sabu both thought, it would be funny if I went out there all protected up and stuff. And so I had long sleeve, like a sweatshirt on and gloves and all kinds of shit because I didn't want to get cut. And even more so, my character wouldn't want to get cut, and that would be funny. And so that was part of what we did there. I helped, like when maybe I helped cut him out or something. But for the most part, it was just literally physically staying away from the barbed wire.
Crap. Yeah. Avoid that stuff. How was Sabu and Terry Funk's relationship? Were you pretty aware of that and how they got along or anything?
Yeah, they really respected each other.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely did. A lot of people coming up, old timers and such, knew Sabu through Sheik, and so a lot of them would extend their respect and love for Sheik and give it to Sabu as well. More so than me. I was Sheik's boy too, but Sabu was like literally his blood and flesh, and his gimmick was like similar to that, and so was his spirit. And I'm just an individual. I wouldn't try to claim to be what Sabu or Sheik was, of course. I think the three of us were three unique individuals that had a lot in common and a lot different from each other in really cool ways. But I saw that a lot with Sabu, like some of the people that Sheik had worked with. It was a much better relationship for Sabu to work with him then.
Wow, yeah, I believe that too. And like just Sabu had that kind of, that's what I could gather is like Sabu developed that kind of mentality that Sheik had from, obviously from Sheik, and so pretty cool.
I've said this before. And I've said that I don't think I've ever heard another wrestler talk about this, but Sabu always used to carry a spike in his boot.
Oh yeah.
And that was because he wanted to be able to defend himself, and his number one predicted attacker wouldn't be a fan, it would be the guy that he's working with. And so, again, when it comes to fans thinking, oh, they're all just friends and playing together, and now that there's no more kayfabe, they believe more than ever it's all friends playing together. So what if Stu hits you on the head with a can? Like, you're a wrestler. So what? You're gonna hit him over that? Pfft, no, you're both wrestlers. It's okay. Fuck that. For people that think that and don't realize, how much it's changed over the years, and from what it actually changed from, every night we'd have a nail that was about that big, and let's see, what is that, about 8 inches,
something like that. Yeah, it's probably about that's big. Yeah, that's almost like 12 inches, I would say. It's almost ruler size.
I think
probably 9.
He wore that in his boot, and sometimes he would work with it, though. He would pull it out sometimes and and use that to cut the opponent's forehead open and work it, and when he's doing Sheik style and making him bleed. But otherwise, it was strictly as a shoot for protection for him. And I never heard another wrestler talk about that until recently. I heard Perry Saturn mention it. And Perry said that he asked him one time, dude, what is that or something? And he was like, what the fuck? And Perry seemed to laugh it off, but also made a point of just how crazy that was. But more than that, how crazy the time was back then. Right. I remember when we were training with Sheik, him telling me when he was wrestling somebody that somebody in the crowd stabbed him, and I can't remember if he got a fork and put it in the guy's stomach or something. Some story in Puerto Rico, and I think that inspired Sabu too, that story, because he told it to us a few times. And right now I don't remember the details, but back then that was part of our world, was that story. And Sabu, I remember one time in All Japan when he was wrestling Stan Hansen, and Stan was, not gonna be there for Sabu where Sabu wanted him to be. Sabu's like, I do this, chair, top rope, and then jump, out to you out on the floor. Is there any way I could move? Yeah, you can move. It was, and the whole thing was going like that. And Stan saw Sabu take the nail out, and at one point, it was, and just was looking at him, just kept walking. It seems like that would be a conversation a lot more than it is.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Nowadays, if one of the guys had a weapon on them to protect himself against the other wrestler while they were in the match, that would sound so out of place, out of pocket, it just it's not the business that we're in now, but that's the business I got into,
Yeah. Could you understand why Sabu did it though? It had something like that ready
yeah, Sheik when he trained us, he also made us feel like enemies that were going to be coming after us.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, in the wrestling business. And he told us stories about when he was attacked, not just by the fans, but there was something with I think with Carlos Colon, but I can't remember what. But yeah, so he had us scared, actually, thinking that some people were going to be wanting to take advantage of us in the ring because of something he did, or something that happened years ago. So
was it the Bruiser Brody stuff? Was it that?
Yes, that was part of it. Yes.
Yeah. I was curious about that because that's what I was thinking about, the Invader 2 and all that kind of thing going on.
Yeah, it slipped my mind, but yeah, that was that was Sheik said he got stabbed down there as well, and wow, and that just stabbed the fan back, and that and I think Sheik might have said that he keeps something in his trunks, which we see him grab, for I don't know how much of it's a work. He never exposed that to us, but I think that night when he was talking about Jose Gonzalez and Bruiser Brody, and he told us to never go to Puerto Rico, as a matter of fact. And I never went my whole fucking career until like maybe 3 years ago. Like I avoided it because Sheik told me not to go. So every time Carlos Colon would call, or another promoter would call, I was always, like, dude, that sounds like, wait, you got someone murdering wrestlers down there and he's booking the cards? You don't. I'm good, bro.
I'm all right on that.
I mean, I kind of like right now that, I keep getting calls about Mexico, and at the same time, they're saying that the whole fucking gangsters are running the, half the country, the police stations and everything.
Oh my God, yeah.
There's a lot to take into consideration there.
Right? Yeah. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Right.
And I know people are going to write in and say, no, Rob, it's cool. Just as long as you don't go to, Mexico City or stay in the touristy spots or whatever it is. But fuck, dude, that cartel, there's some serious shit. And if they want to make a statement or they want to kidnap someone for some money or whatever, seems like we'd be pretty good targets.
Yeah, you just don't know, right? It's nuts. Funny you mentioned that too, because like in Terry Funk's book, he said too he was in Puerto Rico, and I think he said he got stabbed 2 different times by fans, and like he kept the knives and he hung them up on his wall because he got that much heat.
Damn. Sabu said that there was an arena down there, and to go from the dressing room to the ring, there was you had to go down this hallway that went underneath the bleachers. And he said that the fans sometimes would hold like rats and shit and drop them down on the wrestlers' heads.
Oh my God. Yeah. No thanks.
And another thing that Sabu told me was that they would heat coins. They would take coins and like with a lighter, fucking like heat them up and fucking fling them at you in the ring.
Oh my God.
So I was like, I don't think I'm gonna really go there. But yeah, like about 3 years ago, big dude that's a ring announcer, commentator for WWE.
Was it
it begins with an H, like
Hugo Sandovich or whatever? Yeah,
that
Hugo.
guy.
Yeah, that guy. I know who you're talking about.
Maybe it was 5 years ago. It goes by quick.
Yeah, it does.
But anyway, yeah, that was the first time, and I just figured enough time had gone by. But yeah, that's right. I forgot, but that was part of our upbringing was we were taught to be scared to go to Puerto Rico. Like they were waiting on us down there because of some heat that Sheik had. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's man. Yeah, but I always, whenever I heard Puerto Rico, I'd be like, oh man, I love Savio Vega, but I don't know if I'd go wrestle down there if I was wrestling.
But it was cool when I went.
Yeah, nice.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Want to make sure I get the super chats. Did I get all of them? I want to make sure. I did want to bring something up, Rob, that I thought was interesting. Oh, here, real quick though, we'll do Frankie's. He posted another question. Thanks for the $5, Frankie. He says, "Can a boxer prevent becoming punch drunk if they play a lot of chess? Any stories of the ECW top rope slipping on someone? Why was it like that?" All right, can a boxer prevent becoming punch drunk if they play a lot of chess? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you get punch drunk. You're a shot boxer. Yeah, any stories of the ECW top rope slipping on someone? Why was it like that?
No. The only thing, I mean, that's exactly what was going through my mind when I did the dive, the famous seen a million times dives out on Bam Bam Bigelow. I was thinking, man, if the top rope rolls when I go to push off it that way instead of just straight up, if that makes it roll, I'm gonna fucking eat shit, and there's no telling how I'll land. But I didn't. I mean, everyone remembers when the top rope broke on Sabu and my match, Hardcore Heaven, the night that Kimono Wanna Lay You danced on top of the roof. It was the rope kept breaking during the night. They kept fixing it. And then by the time the main event was going in, it was already, I think, like close to 1 a.m, and then the rope broke first time we hit it. And it was a big, like, oh, fuck. And then I looked, and Sabu went from the chair up to the sagging top rope, like fucking hung there, like, and went and did a moonsault. And I was like, okay. All right. So we're not going to sell that the rope's broke then. All right. Fuck it. Fuck the top rope then. And we just had our match anyway. Yep.
Yeah, there you go, right? Roll with the punches. Ash Vega chimed in. We talked about this, Ash, actually. ICP at AEW ain't that cool. It's definitely cool. Hope they do more.
Yeah, we're talking about that. That's fucking awesome. I'm sure they're stoked as well. Yeah. Don't know what all they did, but I just saw on social media them on the stage and stuff, and fans seemed happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Ash Vega, by the way, there's a card that you won, so get a hold of me, dpdangelo@gmail.com. Send me your info. I got to figure out which card you won at this point, but you won something from the RVD raffle like several weeks back. So send me an email with your information because I can send that out to you still. So be sure to do that. Rob, okay, before we close out, I wanted to bring this up. Friend of the show, Brian Sullivan, who wrote the Sheik's biography there. He covered an article in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated recently, and what he brought up was like the age of top stars right now in wrestling. And like, if you kind of think about in the past, when Stone Cold was at Stone Cold Steve Austin, he was about 36 years old. And so he made a list of some of the top stars here that are currently
younger than ever, right?
No, older than.
Really?
Yes, look at this. So here it is, Rob. So look at Cody Rhodes, 41, Roman Reigns, 41, Kenny Omega, 42, John Moxley, 40, CM Punk, 47, Randy Orton is 46, I think. 46, does that say? Wow, is Randy Orton younger than CM Punk? Wow. Chris Jericho, 55. And then there's a whole bunch of other names here that are in the 40s. There's only one on this list that is below in the 30s, and that's Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks, I believe. And that's it. The rest of these are all stars that are in their top names. How crazy is that? Yeah. That's
amazing. Yeah. It shows what I know. I thought it was going to be the other one, the other way. No. But I mean, couldn't they also put a list together of wrestlers that are fucking under 35 that are working the tops of the cards too? And I mean, they selected that list, right? Is that
so I think Brian went through and found up a lot of the names that are like, at the top of the card here. Like if you look too, so it's Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and CM Punk. They're all world champions right now. So and Kenny Omega. Oh, Cody's not a champion. I'm sorry. Roman Reigns, Kenny Omega, and CM Punk are all the world champions of two world champions.
So this happens to be like a list of the oldest stars. There can also be a list of the youngest stars that might have as much of a push as some of these guys, right? Or no?
So a few of them, but I think the majority, if you look at this list, it's a lot of all the main eventers, especially in WWE. It looks like current main eventers going on. LA Knight's even at the top of the card right now. Seth Rollins, he's 40. He's at the top of the card. Brock Lesnar. But to your point, though, there's some names up and coming, like a Braun Breaker or Obafemi, Will Ospreay. So those are some other names that can kind of push back a little bit about that. But it's kind of fascinating because it's like, I think it kind of speaks. Yeah, it speaks to like, I think, the longevity of wrestlers nowadays and how much better, their process and kind of like, staying healthy, eating clean and doing, maybe not doing all the painkillers and drugs to this point too kind of helps out, and obviously you're an example of that too, right? So it's kind of neat to see that. But people also find it frustrating because it's like when you're pushing new stars too, because a lot of these guys have been established forever too at the same time. So where do you find that balance, I guess? Right. So, but kind of a fascinating list. I thought I'd pop up there, especially with Brian writing the book on the Sheik. So cool. Well, this has been a good one, Ron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see our moment in history graphic.
Yes, let's do it. All right. Yes. We do a 5-star history, everybody. Boom. There it is. And Rob brings out a little piece of his history to share with everybody. So here you go, Rob. Boom. What do you got for us?
Oh. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, I was in a hurry running, sliding into the home plate right before this show. So I would have liked to have had a little more time to find something, but I have so much cool stuff, and like I was explaining, I have schedules, I have contracts, I have posters, like all kinds of shit. I'm a keeper when it comes to that shit. I keep it all. And what I have right here is something different than what I thought I had. I thought that I was going to show you my original WCW contract. Because I have that, no doubt, and I can show it when I find it. But and I got a good story to, but we'll save that for this. I didn't realize till just now, but when they did the invasion and I joined WWE in 2001, I actually had a contract for WCW. What? That's what they did. They bought ECW, they bought WCW, and they put them together as the alliance. What I didn't realize was I was signing a contract with WCW, and that might sound strange, but I'm holding it right here, and it's 2001, and check this out. Just read the first bit there, the first 2 lines.
Wow, look at that. That's crazy.
Right? Who fucking knew? And then I wonder when it changed and when I signed a WWE contract. Was it before I actually went, or was it the first time I renewed? I don't know. I haven't looked through the details of this, but I remember, I remember what my deal was, and it was a 3-year deal. And this should have all of the, including intellectual properties, drug policy. Check this out. I'm just reading right here. It says, wrestlers shall abide by WCW's drug policy for wrestlers, as well as any and all, what the fuck is that word? Amendments, additions, or modifications to the WCW's drug policy implemented during the term of this agreement, and consents to sampling and testing of his urine in accordance with such policy. In addition, wrestler agrees to submit annually to a complete physical examination by a physician, either selected or approved by WCW. WCW's current drug policy, which wrestler acknowledges herewith receiving, is annexed hereto and incorporated by reference and made a part hereof. Wow. So that's pretty interesting. They must have, when they bought ECW and WWE, they must have thought that they were going to run half the shows with WCW corporation. And I remember now and this would make sense, hearing that maybe they were going to even do separate house shows and have like WWE shows and then have like WCW, what would be shows. They didn't really know exactly what they were going to do when they first acquired everything, and they were figuring out the best way to do it. They were going to maybe run two separate companies completely as they were, and it looks like maybe I was going to get thrown on the other show, and I didn't even know till just now.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, like when the invasion started, that was kind of the hope, is like, oh, they're going to make WCW a show and like maybe ECW too. And like, what are they going to do with it? And that's, ultimately it was just a big angle, big storyline. But I would have never guessed that you signed like a WCW contract for your first WWE, I guess, stint, or not your first, but where you made your long run on. But that's great.
And this particular copy isn't signed. I usually have several copies, and that's why it's easy to keep one. But usually, especially if it's something big, you go back and forth with the lawyers, and they redline a little clause right here. We just need to make a little change here, and okay, no problem. And so a lot of times, more so it's digitally now than it was back then. But back then, a lot of times I'd have 4 or 5 contracts, all like maybe with 1 or 2 lines different as it developed throughout the time that it was existing. So cool. I'm gonna find the WCW contract that I had in see, when was this?
92? 90.
It was December 92 that they first gave me the contract, and I stayed until May of 93. And that one, I have a bunch of those contracts because I just kept telling them that I lost it because I didn't want to sign it.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that more when I have it, and we can compare the 2 WCW contracts.
Yeah, how about that? Nice.
And we'll look at this sometime because I have a bunch of these. Look at this fucking schedule.
Oh my God.
Okay, I don't even know why these are days off. Like this is Christmas or something. Oh no, it's August. Anyway, the schedule, if you're on every show, then like the days off are when you leave home and when you get home. You know what I mean? So those are travel days. And you're working that many days out of the month. And I love when somebody feels righteous after hearing that story about me not wanting to go to Iraq to see the troops that one Christmas break. I love when some asshole goes on there like, well, Rob's not an American is basically what they're saying,
Yeah.
You couldn't go over there for the troops, man. Fuck you. You just gotta, that fucking makes me sick. You're a bitch. It had nothing to do with politics. I never wanted to go there anyway. It sounds like you can go there. I'm already so tired of traveling, and I already was back then, that if I'm gonna be in an airplane, put me in a beach, send me to the ocean or something, but not the desert. But anyway, there was nothing appealing about that. But what was appealing was a Christmas break coming up that I've been looking forward to for 2 months. Then right at the last second, when I'm like literally like keeping my sanity by counting down the days till I get a break, then they say, hey, we're going to volunteer and go over and say hi to the troops, and you guys won't get paid shit, but you'll make assholes like this guy that's going to write RVD a comment someday happy that you're all Americans.
I better do it for that YouTube comment guy.
yeah. Someday, you're gonna please the fuck out of this guy. Yeah. But anyway, we'll go through the schedules someday and look at just like how demanding those were. And obviously, it was too much for me because here I am now.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's, if those guys could take it for 30 years, great. That was definitely not going to be my life. So,
Okay.
I was there. I followed my guidance, got there, did as well as I did do. And my guidance said it's time to leave. And I did. And I'm very happy. I love my life. So, Mr. fucking G.I. Joe over there that, fucking go get your head blown off. Fuck you.
There we go. What a show, everybody. We covered a lot of good ground. I like it, Rob. And man, we were thinking maybe we'd go short tonight. We didn't. So.
We never do.
Nope.
Mudwater sent us a while ago. I don't know if we put them over, but it's like coffee, but it's not coffee, but it is Mudwater coffee, and it's mushroom coffee, and it says it's Arabic coffee with all these mushrooms in it and shit. But then when you look at the ad, it says that it's not coffee, so it's weird. But there's a whole bunch of them right now that are competing with each other and with whether they got the right mushrooms or not. Katie filters my purchases because I'm on Instagram, and I wanted to buy this one. What is it? Something Balls coffee, and it's like saying that they have. I don't know. They're just, I can't remember what it is now. Bulls and Balls, I think it's called, or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's another one in between that one and this one that I can't remember, that like one of its ads makes it sound like it's specifically for people that smoke weed. It's so crazy because all the other ads don't even mention that, but they're great advertisers. That's all I know for sure. But as far as that goes, because I wanted to buy them all. Like, I need to have Bulls and Balls, baby. I have to have it. Otherwise, I'm missing out. Like, as a man, you need these in your stomach. And I don't know. You need these mushrooms because these mushrooms give you, estrogen. It says so right here. And anyway, she looks it up and sees how many the ratings and how long they've been there and all kinds of stuff. And a lot of times she puts the brakes on. She's like, no, they're not even a real company. No. How do I see 20 ads a day if they're not a real company?
Oh my
God. But anyway, Mudwater, thanks for your shit. I support you.
Yeah, they do good stuff. I like the Mudwater. I've had it before. They give you a frother too. I don't know if you got the frother thingy, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably did if they gave it to me. But
yeah. They sent it to your way. So try out some Mudwater, everybody. I know they're not a sponsor this week. I just looked at the schedule, so but try it out anyways. I know they're a sponsor on my other show. So, all right, cool, Rob. This has been a blast, man. What's some great story? Yeah.
Thanks, Van Dam fam, and God bless America. Hopefully, I didn't anger any soldier fans, because thank you for your service and. Don't be worrying about me and what I choose to do or not do. Quit wishing you were me. That's creepy. Stop it.
Rob is an American, everybody, by the way. He is an American. So.
I'm proud to be an American.
At least I know I'm free.
Dude, I am fucking blasted. Use that sound clip right there. Just that'll be
blasted
all over the internet.
Yeah, that's right. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Rob's he's going to be in Minneapolis. WrestleCon.
I'll be in Minneapolis. Yeah, SummerSlam weekend. That's tomorrow, and that's WrestleCon. Me and Katie will be there. We won't have the babies with us, but we'll be. I don't know. Maybe we'll show you some pictures.
There you go. Get some pictures with Rob and Katie.
Yeah. Cool. Looking forward to it. Should be a good time in Minneapolis, and we'll see you there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Wow. So 3 days. Wow. All right. You got a full scheduled weekend.
Sunday, the day of our Lord.
That's right. Sunday.
Jesus
Go.
Christ.
Yes.
Amen.
All right. Well, cool. Say hi to Jesse Ventura for me. And we'll say hi to all of you next week on One of a Kind with
Super
who?
high. Cool.
Yeah, hi.
Later, everybody. Peace out, hoes.
Peace up. Peace up, A-Town down.